Jackie Brown, written and directed by Quentin Tarantino and is classified as a crime thriller. It stars Pam Grier as Jackie Brown, Samuel L. Jackson as Ordell Roby, and Michael Keaton as Ray Nicolette. Now, when we start the movie off, following Jackie to work. We find out that she's a flight attendant, but we also find out that she has another job at the same time. So during her flights, she smuggles in back and forth money for Samuel L. Jackson's character Ordell, who is a gun runner, which makes this pretty interesting because when she brings one payment back, Michael Keaton's character, who is a cop, Ray, he busts her. But you know, you can't really bust somebody for having an envelope full of money. She could just give any excuse she wanted and then probably would have just spent like close to a day in jail and then she's out. The funny thing about this delivery was there was a little bit of cocaine in the envelope, which got her busted. Now, the only way she could get out is if she rats out Ordell, because that's who Michael Keaton was after. The only reason why he really knew what was going on is because back in the late 90s, cops were all over the place looking for any stewardesses, flight attendants, whichever they refer to. They were looking at them and how they got paid or who they work for. That's how they would narrow down their search into looking for who is, you know, running anything, doing anything of illegal nature. You know, stuff like that. So that's how they found her character. It's like nobody snitched. They just narrowed it down to her. The drugs were a plus in this to entrap her to give up Ordell. Now, after she gets her sentencing and Ordell himself bails her out of jail, there's a little bit of a problem that ensues. One, she has to either worry about the cops arresting her for a very long time, putting her away for a very long time, or Ordell killing her. So she had to make up a plan. Now, this is where the movie gets extremely interesting because it's not only a caper movie that pits Ordell against Ray, you know, cop versus criminal. It's also about Jackie as well. She's trying to get out of the middle of this. Robert Forster's character, Max Cherry, plays an integral part in this. He's the bail bondsman. At the same time he bonds Jackie out, he falls in love with her. That makes this even more interesting. While he bonds her out, he listens to all her problems, what's happening, so he's pretty much up to date. He decides later on that he's probably going to become part of it. I say probably is because he's pretty much 50-50 about the whole thing. He wants to stay out of it because of moral reasons. He wants to stay in it because he loves Jackie. Or he's in love with Jackie. But when you get to the end of this movie, you realize there was a lot more planning against certain people than there were before the caper even happened. You think there's only one dimension for the plan. There's multiple dimensions. And you're going to end up at the end of this movie going, wow. She really did that. He really did that. They really did that. And some people got away with it. But you have to find out who that was. Well, there's not really too much to say about this movie. It has a straightforward narrative. But it's the end that really shows you the complexity of the planning. For fanboy grade, I'm going to give this movie a B+. For justice grade, I'm going to give this movie an A-. Fanboy grade because of the fact that this movie is basically off of an original adaptation that already exists, and this is the only movie to date that Quentin Tarantino has done from an original work. Every other movie he's done is originally his story from the get. So he didn't have too much dimensions to work with, but what he had, he made it gold. The justice grade, I gave it an A- because this movie was well put together. It took the time to develop all the characters. You were worried about every single character in the caper just either screwing up, getting caught, getting killed, or you were probably cheering for them to, you know, get away or succeed. I hope you guys liked this review of Jackie Brown. Sorry it was a short one, but depending on the complexity of the movie, that's how complex or simplistic the reviews are going to be. Hope to see you guys next time and stay enthusiastic.